Okay, here's your warning. Here's your warning. I'm about to say a forbidden name in Atlanta. Tom Brady. Yes, the same Tom Brady that 4 years ago in the Super Bowl led the New England Patriots to the comeback of the ages against the Atlanta Falcons. He's back in the big game again this year with a new team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if they beat the Kansas City Chiefs this upcoming Sunday, Tom Brady gets his 7th Super Bowl. And guess what? An Atlanta Brave, a former Atlanta Brave, can claim a small piece in that if it happens. We'll get to that in just a second. But first, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Bold and Braves. I'm Chris Vanell, and every single Wednesday, I'm right here on Atlanta Sports Unlimited with a new video. So be sure to subscribe to our channel, be sure to like this video, and while you're at it, follow us on social media, at Atlanta Sports Unlimited on both Facebook and Twitter. So Tom Brady, about 10 years ago, he was already in his mid-30s, and he was also already viewed as one of the top quarterbacks in football, but he wanted a way to stay at the top of his game as he aged. And so his solution was former Atlanta Braves bullpen pitcher Tom House. Now I know what you're thinking, and I kind of thought the same thing. Tom House, the short, little kind of nerdy looking guy, what does he have to do with Tom Brady? What does he have to do with football? Well, since retiring from Major League Baseball, House earned his PhD in sports psychology and is now a world-renowned professor of throwing, obviously in baseball, but he also works with football players. During his Major League Baseball career, he spent most of it in Atlanta with the Braves, and he was a pretty good pitcher. Not the tallest guy, not the strongest guy, not the hardest thrower, but he was cerebral, and he was also just really sharp with his mechanics. He had a career ERA with the Braves right around 3, and his other claim to fame in Atlanta is that when Henry Aaron hit his 715th home run to break Babe Ruth's record, Tom House was out in the bullpen. He actually caught the ball, and there's a picture of House giving Aaron the ball at home plate. So that's him in Atlanta. Then he finished his career a couple years with the Red Sox, a couple years with the Mariners, before going back to school and earning that PhD. Eventually, in the mid-'80s, he became a pitching coach for the Texas Rangers, where he worked with guys like Nolan Ryan. And Nolan Ryan, by that point, he really credits House with extending his career. He was in his late 30s, early 40s when House was working with him, and his arm was kind of worn down. I mean, he had pitched forever at that point. One of House's methods was having Ryan throw a football. Yes, a baseball player throwing a football as a training method. And Ryan really liked it. For years also, House collected data on the throwing motions of elite NFL quarterbacks. He didn't really know what to do with it until he realized that the timing, the sequencing, and really just the mechanics of throwing a football as a quarterback are very similar to being a pitcher in baseball. And so eventually he started working with NFL quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons, and of course, Tom Brady. Now, by the time that House got to him, Brady didn't need, any huge mechanical overhauling, but he did notice a few small tweaks, and they've continued to tweak Brady's game throughout the years. One change that House has made is that Brady has less rotation in his torso now. He used to over-rotate a little bit, which was actually taking away torque and throwing power on his deep ball. They've cleaned that up. And no matter what happens this Sunday in the Super Bowl, Brady's probably going to stick around in the NFL for another year or two, which means House keeps his biggest client. And he thinks that Tom Brady can play in another couple of years in the NFL, past the age of 45, which would be really record-breaking for a quarterback of his level. So if you're not a huge Tom Brady fan and you're tired of him and you're forced to watch him run around NFL fields for the next couple of years, while most players his age, frankly, have been retired for years, you can thank or curse a former Atlanta Brave for it.